Hi, so I'm Sarah Mendonca, and I'm here interviewing two experts with Gifted Homeschoolers Forum, both of whom have been involved in the creation of our brand new 12-month course, and they are really excited to tell you a little bit about it, and me too, because I don't know everything there is to know. So I want to give them an opportunity to introduce themselves, and then we'll get to talking about this really exciting new project.
Great. Hi, everybody. I'm Casey Peters, and I am a member of the Board of Directors for Gifted Homeschoolers Forum. I'm also a veteran homeschool parent. I have two kids. One is 14 and the other is 10, and we've been homeschooling 9 years now. So I'm really excited about homeschooling and passionate and love talking about it and excited about this program.
Okay, and I'm Carol Malueg. I am also on the board of directors for GHF. I'm the education chair. I did not homeschool my kids exclusively. I really did a non-traditional creative path for K-12 using a lot of different resources, including a little bit of homeschooling. And so I'm learning a great deal from this project and from my colleagues here. And it's a lot of fun. And pardon the birds, they are chiming in.
Great. And I guess I should have mentioned, I also have been homeschooling for a while, although we've taken a little bit of a hybrid evolving approach as my kids have gotten older. And but I've always appreciated the resources that this group has to offer. So one of the things I've been thinking about a lot as I've heard more about this project is how useful this would have been to me when I was first starting out. Like, wow, this is fantastic. Like a whole 12-month course where, you know, we're just bringing all the information to people instead of making them do all the research. It's like a dream come true. Casey, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be part of this project because we pulled our son out of kindergarten when he was 6 years old, and it was a crisis moment. And I had to just quickly teach myself everything I could. And it was overwhelming, especially when we were just in this situation of like trying to just figure things out. And I had no idea what to do. And there's so much information out there, and there's so many resources that if I had just one place to go and have somebody give me like just the basic getting started information, and then I could have just kind of calmed down and just started. And even if the message is you can relax and take a breath and take your time when they're 6 years old, I would have loved a one-stop shop to figure out what I needed and to sort of debunk some myths that I had heard, and connect with people who were either where I was at, or who were ahead of me and could give me some advice.
Yeah, this is exactly what we're hearing from so many parents is they really need to find people who are being creative about their kids' education. Right now, so many things are uncertain that it's wonderful to find a lifeline. And so, and some continuity and some connection and some people to ask the questions, just as Casey just said. So that's really what we've created, is just a place to, house some information, some important information, and to also give families a platform in which to interact with each other, share ideas, share advice, share what worked, what didn't work, and to, lay their questions out there for each other.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned, how parents are being creative and proactive about their kids' education, because I've always been a big fan of that approach. But it seems like this year in particular, there's such a need for that. I see so many people looking at the options available to them and feeling like there's not really a good fit, or there's not really a best choice, and they're really kind of struggling with that. And so I love that in this turbulent time, GHF is there to support parents in helping them to find good resources and connect with people that have expertise and answers and options for them. So I understand that as you were developing this course, you were seeking input from parents about the kinds of topics that they wanted to learn more about. What kind of input did you get?
Well, yeah, I think, you know, many families have a lot of questions about like the socialization piece. How do I keep my kids social? Where are they going to learn the social skills? And there's just a lot of worry from parents. And so a lot of it is about kind of dispelling those myths of like, I'm not qualified to teach, or how do I find my curriculum, and how do I create a schedule, and is it even legal in my state? And so there's a lot of like just the basics, like how do I know what kind of homeschooler I am, right? Like there's a lot of philosophies out there, and each philosophy has its own kind of curriculum ideas. So there's all of these questions, specifically, like even related to like personality of the families, right? Like my kids and I will clash, or I could never teach my kid, they won't learn from me. So a lot of worry came out of the input from the families. So we have addressed that for sure.
Yeah, we've organized our year into 4 seasons. And in the first season, we'll address a lot of those questions. Is it legal? How do I do this? What are my first steps? What are the myths and what is the truth of homeschooling or partial homeschooling or getting creative about, our kids' education? And then we talk about supporting our kids emotionally and socially. And then we talk about the next season is then twice exceptional, or differently wired is another way to put it. And then we get into the resources, the stuff of, so the year is really packed, and we kind of responded to the input from families and caregivers. What do they need first? And so first is really the nitty gritty. How to, can we homeschool?
That's fantastic. And I think too that for a lot of new homeschoolers, I remember when we first started, I definitely, would get a lot of the same questions over and over again. And it's so helpful when veteran homeschoolers can share some answers that are really helpful, ways to respond with confidence instead of feeling, judged or attacked, but to just kind of smile and say, well, this is why we're doing it. And, actually, did you ever think about this? There's a way to respond without feeling threatened, and to really put a positive spin on it. So, I gathered that this isn't just going to be like a one-way course where you just watch videos and that's it. It's going to be a little bit more of a community, a little bit more interactive. What do you have planned?
Go ahead, Carol. That would be a good one for you.
You bet. Okay. Yeah. So we will have resources. We'll have things that you can read or listen to or watch, and take in the information. We call that the information download. And then we're going to have some interaction, some discussion times throughout the month on different topics. So our topics start big. The first season is, how do I do this? And within that, we have a lot of different ideas and thoughts. And so we'll give you a lot of information. You get to pick and choose and digest it over the course of a month. And you get to do that in discussion groups and on the discussion boards. So there will be live discussions, and there will also be asynchronous discussions in the discussion boards.
And I also think that it's going to be a great course for people to take even when they're not new homeschoolers, and even if they're doing some kind of hybrid situation. Just speaking for myself, like I'm at a new place with my son starting high school. So I would love to talk with other families who are doing that. And then I would love to share information for people who have kids in elementary school. So it's kind of going to be a thing you can come back to no matter where you are in your stage of homeschooling, and no matter how you're homeschooling, or if you're doing some things for enrichment or some supplementation of what you're doing in a traditional school. It's kind of just for everybody who can, who's being creative and proactive about how they're educating their kids.
Yeah, I love the fact that, I mean, even though it might be sort of maximally beneficial for new homeschoolers, I think anybody's going to benefit because, you know, bottom line, it's parents and experts connecting and, you know, digging into all of these questions and topics together. Um, well, do you have anything else that you want to add about it? I mean, we're getting ready to launch pretty soon, right?
We are, yes. The launch date is coming up. We're starting the beginning of September. So it's very soon. Um, I do want to just add on to what you both were just saying about, you know, being able to share your experiences and ideas and also being able to ask questions. I mean, the parents and caregivers have so much information and so many resources, and giving people a place to share and to connect. So sometimes it's just as valuable and feels just as good to be able to share advice as it is to receive it. So that's one of the design things that we really, you know, emphasized when we're building the course.
Well, and sometimes homeschooling can feel a little bit isolating, especially for people who are making a transition from public school. And so it's great that there's this built-in network that's just, you know, ready to go. So that's awesome. And people can jump in at any point in the year, right? They don't have to start in early September.
Right.
Right.
Yes. And they can do completely asynchronous, or they can meet up for the discussion times. And it fits right in with all of the other work that we do with GHF. So there is quite a bit of community work. Do you want to talk about some of the other things, like the coffee chats and the...
Yeah, I mean, GHF is just really a fantastic community, and we are doing other things like coffee chats and the expert series of interviews where different people are interviewing experts in the field of homeschooling and gifted education. And so, well, this is going to be a more interactive situation where we have talks and we have question, answer, and facilitated discussion. There's a lot of ways to get involved in GHF. And I think, you know, the other thing I was just thinking about is that I think we need to be real clear that this is for people who are also homeschool curious, not for people who've already made the decision. I often say, like, as parents, we tour every school, right? We tour the charter schools, we tour the private schools, we tour the alternative eds and the magnet schools, like all the things. And so why not take a homeschool tour? And this is a real kind of in-depth way of getting that information.
Yeah, I feel like there's going to be content here that's going to be helpful to any parent, whether or not their kids are in school or homeschool or gifted or not. So I'm looking forward to it very much. Well, thank you for all the work you're putting into it, and we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Bye.